Good morning. It's Thursday. We read Matthew 27, 1 through 10. When morning came, all the chief priests and the elders of the people took counsel against Jesus to put him to death. And they bound him and led him away and delivered him over to Pilate the governor. Then when Judas, his betrayer, saw that Jesus was condemned, he changed his mind and brought back the 30 pieces of silver to the chief priests and elders, saying, "I have sinned by betraying innocent blood." They said, "What is that to us? See to it yourself." And throwing down the pieces of silver into the temple, he departed, and he went and hanged himself. But the chief priests, taking the pieces of silver, said, "It's not lawful to put them into the treasury, since it's blood money." So they took counsel and bought with them the potter's field as a burial place for strangers. Therefore that field has been called the field of blood to this day. Then was fulfilled what had been spoken by the prophet Jeremiah, saying, "And they took the 30 pieces of silver, the price of him on whom a price had been set by some of the sons of Israel, and they gave them for the potter's field, as the Lord directed me." So, Jesus is taken to Pilate. Pilate's the only one who can actually authorize the death penalty. And so this is the way it has to happen. Pilate, of course, doesn't have a lot of information about Jesus or knowledge about Jesus, but we'll get to that. For now, he's taken there. So he's moved from the high priest's house to Pilate's palace. Meanwhile, Judas has changed his mind. In a fit of regret, he runs back and he says, "Here, take your money." And the priests, of course, are like, "We don't need the money. We don't care. He's arrested. He's condemned. Go away." General William Booth founded the Salvation Army in England in the 1850s, maybe. And he was asked one time about money that was derived from gambling. If somebody wins a bunch of money at a poker game, can you accept it? And William Booth said, "Well, the only problem with tainted money is it tain't enough." Apparently, the chief priest didn't have that same freedom. Because in a fit of hypocrisy, they say, "Oh, we can't use this money because it was used to betray Jesus." And so they buy a field in which they can bury indigent strangers. And that's where Judas ends up buried. And the field is called the field of blood. And this ties together for Matthew yet another prophecy from Jeremiah. So Matthew's always looking for the connections to the Old Testament and to the people. We see that Judas repents of what he's done. Judas realizes this was a terrible mistake, and Judas comes back and says, wait, I don't want to do that. But it's too late. So often, we do things and then we realize, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that," but the train is moving, the ball is rolling, it's too late to stop the consequences of a decision that we make. We just have to, deal with them and live with them. But we do see that Judas manages to repent, and that's a good thing. I don't think, and you may disagree, but I don't think that Judas is ultimately condemned for betraying Jesus. I think he repents of that and is eventually welcomed by Jesus into the Lord's house in God's kingdom, where he's given a big hug and told, "It's okay. I know what you did, but it's okay." I hope that we have that kind of grace. I hope that God gives us that kind of grace, and I hope that we have that kind for each other and for other people and for strangers, because we all need it. We all need it. So let's ponder Judas today and what he did and what he didn't do, and how his betrayal stacks up against the outright hypocrisy of the priests. See you tomorrow.